So here I'm cutting out my color map in 3 sections, and this helps me to organize how I'm going to be making the fans. I'm cutting the atmospheric light colors and yellows and golds away from the blues. And then I'm cutting the blues away from the greens. And you know, they're not all exactly blue, exactly green, exactly yellow, but it's a way to separate the groups and work in 3 groups of fans. Hello, welcome to week 2 of the Hills Quilt Along. This week we're going to focus in on this part of the quilt, which is the total top left side. It's the warm hues, the light atmospheric hues, and I'm going to talk to you about color, and I'm also going to talk to you about cutting out maximum amount in the ombres. But here's your colors. You want to get a close view of that? A wonderful range. And remember to use the back side and the front side. This sample of the back side and the front side. So here's a little fan that didn't make it into my quilt, but I want to show you something really cool. This color is the same as this color. It's just flipped. Okay, you see that? I just flipped it around the back side. And remember, that's available for you through all these light areas. The other thing that we're going to go over today is cutting these lovely arcs. You're going to be cutting it out of the ombres. So stay tuned. Here I've pulled all the golds and the pale colors that are happening in this part of the quilt, which is the top of the quilt. Now we're going to just look at a few of the fans together, but I wanted to talk about generally the fans because they are light and soft and atmospheric. You only get this sharp, strong gold when you get into this area of the fans. You can focus on making all these full-size fans first, and then you can go back and see that the fans that are cut in half often are pictured and featured on the other side of the quilt. And Latifah will get into details about that. I tend to make the whole fan, cut it in half, and on the color map, it tells you right here, you make 38 full fans, and then you have sides that you're cut in half. You have a couple of standalones, and then you have tops and bottoms, meaning F3 is the other half of F58, F5 is the other half of 59. So all the instructions are here. And make sure you have downloaded the latest Hills color map, which will be included on our learning page. I am going to show you the colors that we're working with right away. So these colors are going to push to the side, but you'll be working with these originally and cutting your all 5 fans from this pile. And this might confuse you a little bit, like, oh, what's that dark green doing there? But it's aloe. And aloe plays an important part in not only the light gold area, but also in this pale area, because you can see the aloe gets into beautiful peaches and yellows and soft greens, and how nicely it goes with this palette. This darker side is reserved for a later time to be used in the green areas. So when we begin to make the fans that are in the top of the quilt, I pulled the quilt to show you the scale. This is the original scale. This is what you're making. This is 1 full fan right here. So I have 2 fat quarters here, and I'm going to show you how I use Latifah's template with the fat quarters, because it's different. When you have a full-on template paper, it's easy to lay it out and tape it down. But now with this template, I end up folding the fabric, right, pretty much on the bias, and then I have to play with it a little bit. But I've gotten pretty good at it, so I have an overhang there, and then I've got my 2 layers here, and my edge of my template is placed on the fold. So let me just slip under this device now that I've got it. And so now I'm going to cut it. And you've got to angle everything. Everything's a little bit at an angle. But I know here, I double check to make sure I'm getting the edges under there, because I don't want to cut off my edges. Okay, so that's how you get your fat quarters to work with the Molehills blade. And just watch me, and I'm going to quietly cut the next few out. And you line up with the next line. I'm going to mark it with my pen. Here's on my 4. So I just wanted to show you from the fat quarters, this is all I have left over. I mean, just scraps. And I was actually able to squeak out one more number 1 in both colors, which is the smallest arc. So that was a bonus. It's a little funky on the corner, but that's going to get lost in the seam allowance. So that doesn't bother me too much. And if I need those accents, I'll be really happy to have them. So let's talk about maximizing the use of your fabric. I'm going to do 2 template cuts. I know that Latifah will be teaching you as well, but before we had the template, when we made this quilt, we didn't have the template. So Jolene and I used the paper templates, and we printed many of them and we cut them out. And I'm going to show you how we maximize the use of the fabric. We're going to line up the points right along the edge of the fabric. You can look at it this way, okay? And we can tape these down. Let's just talk about it a couple different ways. That way you're using all your lights, or we can orient the block slightly, like the pieces differently, where we nest them this way. So we tape down right on top to keep, okay, I'll just move over to this, to keep the templates from slipping. And I'm able to use these paper templates from Latifah's pattern multiple times as long as I'm accurate with my cutting. If I do sloppy cutting, then my templates aren't as good anymore because I have to print out new templates if I go over the lines or under the lines. And I'm just gonna go I'm only a single deep, okay? And I'm going to just first work on these 2 smaller ones. It's nice to start your first cuts with the smaller fans because they're not as intimidating, I guess. Now I've switched to my larger rotary cutter because I had a problem with a dull blade. Imagine that. I have a dull blade. That never happens to you guys, I'm sure. Okay. So what's nice about removing it is now I can rotate it around and it's all taped to the fabric. And I'm going to cut off that little bit right there. There. So there's a number 1. And I don't even need to label it because it's clearly number 1. There's no other option it could be. So you don't need to label your templates once they're cut out. You just make sure that you're cutting accurately. And now I'm going to clean up this little bit right here because that was the space in between template 1 and template 2. There. And you've got your little pile. You've cut out 2A and you've cut out 1 and 2. And clean up that right there because that was when my blade wasn't working. So you've got some beautiful ones here, and then you can go on to cut the rest of these out. So now that we've showed you the paper templates, let's cut one from the ombre out of the acrylic template. And I've already got a hole here, so I want to make sure that I'm aware of where that hole is. And I'm going to actually fold it and get some more peachy toned arcs. And I'm going to place this on the fold. And there's a little bit of the black there, but it's okay because it's going to be in the seam allowance. So this is going to be wonderful. So I'm just going to cut this. Oops. Wow, that was a dream to cut. How wonderful was that? Look, I cut a nice big number 5. And that's going to look beautiful in one of these light colored ombre fans. So here I've laid out 5 more fans, whether you're working with paper or working with your Molehills template. It's really nice to get your honey. This is one of my favorite colors. To get honey, to get all the lights you need. And I found that this is the best layout for that. So I'm going to cut them, but I'm actually going to use my template. And then I'm going to go over to this side and cut from here. So there'll just be Swiss cheese left of this, but it's so important that you get all of your arcs. I think it's good for you to know that these cuts, they're so big, but look how beautiful that is. They can be awkward. So I think the best advice is just to take your time. And then look how pretty they are. Look at how beautiful that is. You're going to get your glow that you need. Be accurate, have fun. Don't cut too late in the night because we want to keep all your digits and keep your cuts as accurate as possible. Here I've cut out a lot of my atmospheric pales and my golds to work with a couple of fans already. And I just wanted to show you that's what it looks like before I begin the job. So I've got my pails and lights cut out, and I'm going to build a fan that would belong in this area. And it's going to be probably a new fan. I don't think I'm going to copy any of these exactly, or maybe they will be, but I like doing this work more intuitively. So I think I might maybe start with my second fan here. And what colors do I like? Let's try this guy here. And then pale, pale, pale. So I'm moving maybe into the honey. Right here is in 3rd position. And then let's grab this green. And so I put this green down, but it's looking a little strong to me. So what's it look like if I use the back side? Ooh, I like that. So let's do that. And then I could either finish off with another light white, or I could maybe even finish off with this gold. And that's feeling a little strong to me as well. So I could flip it on the back side, or let's try the pink. So you're going to be auditioning things just like I am, you know. That's really pretty. And I think that's really the ticket right here. Make sure you remember, or you make a note, that these are the back side of these two fabrics, because I know that we did when we were making it, Jolene and I, we sewed the wrong side because we thought it was supposed to be this side. So I'm just going to keep it like this, and I'm going to bring it to the machine, and this is all the front facing parts of the fabric. Let's build another one. Okay, I'm going to do another really pale one, and let's start with a 5. I don't always start with the same one. Let's start with the number 5 position, and oh, this is really pretty. Is this also a number 5? We'll do that on another one. Let's do the 4 being the honey ombre. That's super nice. We've got 5, 4, and then 3. Let's build another soft one. We'll go 3 here. And I'm going to flip it on the other side. Turn the chalk and charcoal over. 3. And then here's a number 1. And let's just use, I could go there, which is really pretty. That works. And I can also go here. And my instincts today, and keeping a pale idea for you guys, is leaving it like that. So that is another block I can go make later. And let's lay out another block. So take that and put that aside. Now let's punch it up a little bit and have some more fun. Let's start with this color on the bottom. And maybe I'm now getting into this area a little bit more. And keeping it still a little bit light. Let's use a honey again. So delicious and warm. And creating glow. What you do to create glow is you keep light colors together, and then you do contrast. And to create like a glow right now, a nice contrasting color will be boom, right there. Okay, and this vibrates because it's against these lighter colors. And I could finish off with, oh, remember I had this out before. So see how beautiful this is? Really a nice way to pop and glow. So I like that. And again, I'm telling you, this is not, I don't think this is exactly any one that I made here, but you get the feeling. Okay, so you don't have to follow my directions exactly. As long as you understand the concept, you'll make a quilt that's all your own. Yay. Let's do one where we combine some pinks and the kind of purpley grays, like kind of in this area. So let's see, I'll start with this beautiful lavender. And again, you can either do this side or this side. I'm going to stick with the printed side up, not the back side. And then I'm really enjoying the honey. So I think that's 5, that's 3. So I need to fill in with a 4. Here's a 4. So here's a 4. So see how we're getting a little drama with the zinc, and the shell is very soft and pretty. So I'm kind of making a little bit like this, but I know I was kind of working over here too. And again, I'm not doing any exact one fan. I'm just showing you the technique. So let's add a little pink, because I told you I wanted to add some pink in here. See how pretty the warm pink is with the cool lilac or the cool shell. And I could also turn it over and make it a little paler. That's actually, I'm going to leave it like that. And now I need a number 1 position. And let's see what I can do with my number 1. I'm going to go back to honey. So here's honey. That's really, really pretty. Love it. Now we're going to get into more drama side down here, and I'm going to introduce some of these reds. So we'll just start with some drama. This is a number 2, and with a number 1, we're going to keep this glow. We're going to get some glow going, like kind of in this area. 1, 2, And then the 3 could be, wow, fun, fun, fun. Look at that. This is the sunrise or the sunset. 3, 4. Yeah, so pretty. So pretty. And then I would look at it, I'm like, is it doing exactly what I want? This red's strong. Maybe I'm going to soften this actually a little bit. I don't know if I want it to be that strong. So what happens? I'm not sure if I like that. What happens if I replace it? Ooh, that's interesting. I could put this here. That changes it, right? Yeah, so here I am changing the number 1. So that's an option. Or I could soften the number 2 position. That works really well. That works okay too. But you just see how I think out loud about things. If I change this, then it goes much lighter. Actually, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so I'm still on a roll with these golden colors. It's funny because my moods change, and when my moods change, what I want to use in my quilts change. Oh, I kind of like that. See how nice? These are the exact same ombres, cut from the same piece, but in different areas. And I love how this blends together, but this pushes into higher contrast. So I really like that. I'm gonna make another glowy one there. And now, ooh, now how pretty that yellow is. And then we're gonna just throw something unexpected right there. That's really pretty. I like that. So you get the feeling now that you're generally doing this area. And because you've already cut your fabrics from this palette, you can meander through without doing exactly what's on the paper. This is a suggestion. And then the final thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to make one of these weird ones. They're like these outliers and they bring more depth. And so I'm definitely going to bring in this dark red. Yeah, so here's the weird one. This is the weird area. This is heather. Yeah, that weird one is heather. That's a big one. Okay, and then I'm gonna either can throw this guy in or I can throw this guy in. Well, I kind of like this one because I'm making a weird block. So you have to have the weirdos. Not a bunch of them, but have the weirdos. And if you just need to put a pop of color in, you could always change out, you know, too weird of a color that you don't like. You could always put that in there. I'm going to keep it weird. Okay, there we go. So now you get the idea of what is going on with all of your pieces. And you have all these pieces left over. I'm going to pull them into the camera side. So you've got all these pieces. And really, to let you know, the weird ones usually come at the end. Because you make your favorites first and you make the really pretty ones first. And they're like the ones like, oh, you love the combinations. And then the weird ones come because they're the only ones left. And that's okay. So here they all sewn up. They're so pretty. I love them. There's the pail. There's a little glow here. Here's definitely more of a rich depth to this piece. I love how it came out. And then here's my weird one. So I like my weird one, and it's really not that weird. So here they are, and you just keep chugging along. Don't give up. The curves might take a few to get used to, but follow Latifah's advice. Have fun with color, play with variations and flipping the backside color and using all sides of the fabrics in the chocolate charcoal, and keep sewing, have fun, and we'll see you on week 3.